All right.
Okay, everyone. Good luck. Come on, Mon.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is the story of how we went to go attempt to get the Mandeville QOM for the second time. The first time we attempted to get the QOM was almost exactly 1 year ago. So if you want to see a failed QOM attempt video, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Another difference from about a year ago, we are not fully alone for this attempt. We have friends now. We actually made some friends that wanted to come along to see the attempt and to give a little bit of help.
And huge thank you to all of our friends here. Just to introduce everybody, I'm Luke. I'm on the front. Rachel's right behind me. And we have Christian, Kevin, and Juan. Juan and Kevin kind of switch places, but Kevin's in the white jersey there, and Juan is in a purple jersey. We also had Amy, who was on this ride with us, but I think she politely skipped this effort, and I can't blame her.
So the segment that we're going for today is Mandeville Canyon. It's 5 miles with a 4% grade in the Brentwood area in Santa Monica. It's one of the most well-known climbs in the area. It has over 300,000 attempts on Strava. Obviously, since it's only 4%, it's not a super steep or pitchy climb. It's pretty shallow for the first half. If you have a Wahoo, it's green. And then it sort of kicks up a little bit, but by kicking up, I mean it goes to probably about like 6%. So it's definitely a climb where the wind conditions matter, drafting matters, and all of that, because you can go a lot faster when the conditions are pretty optimized. You can see here, we're just sort of starting out the climb, and yeah, it's like 2% here. So not steep at all. Just trying to make it through this first part, through the few stop signs that there are without really having to slow down a ton for them, which we got pretty lucky. You can see one coming up here. It kind of goes to the side to check and make sure we're not going to get hit by a car. We're all good. Can keep going along. Got sprayed by some water. But apparently there used to be like a slimy patch of Mandeville, but it's dried up in the past couple of weeks. So we were like, now's the time. It also was kind of the time because I've actually been feeling decent on the bike for the past few weeks. And, you know, who knows how long that's going to last for. So, you know, got to strike while the iron is hot and just like go out, full send it, see what happens. As you can see, we got all kitted out for this effort. We got the skin suit on, we got the Aero gloves, we got the borderline UCI illegal Aero socks, we got the new shoes because mine were approximately 4 years old and were falling apart. So we were set and ready. The QOM that I'm going up against was ridden by Isabel King, who is one of the pro gravel riders in the area. When she got it, it was in 2020. It was a super fast time, obviously. It stood for like close to 4 years now. So it seemed like it was time to sort of like reignite the battle for the Mandeville QOM. It seems to be like kind of becoming a little bit more of a popular segment to try to go for. Another fast female went, and actually the day before we were gonna do this attempt here, she actually went and sort of hammered like the second half of Mandeville and got all the QOMs on the upper half. So I was like, oh man, like better go pretty fast or else who knows, she's gonna come back and take it like next weekend, because she was just by herself too, which is just incredible on this climb, like so shallow that, you know, like I said before, drafting really matters. So she's able to go out there and get those top ones all by yourself, like, whew, scary stuff. So we knew that we needed to go pretty dang fast on this to hopefully keep it for a little bit. Who knows, though? The holiday ride is coming up on Memorial Day, which is in 2 weeks from now, and that's where everyone goes and just hammers up Mandeville. So who knows? I may be receiving an email quite shortly. But fingers crossed, it at least stands for maybe a month or so before someone goes and takes it back.
I remember Luke was like, don't tell Rachel, but I'm going to actually pace it for my own PR. When he said that, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. I was in trouble anyways. Hearing that they were going to go faster than they initially told us was not very happy to hear that. And every time I looked down at the speed, it was 19, 20, 22 miles an hour. We were going fast on this.
We also got kind of lucky with cars on this attempt. We didn't have a ton of cars passing us, and the ones that did were pretty respectful, so that actually ended up working out pretty nicely too. It's always the worst when you're going kind of hard and you're over to one side of the road, but then people just kind of zoom past you. It's always a little bit scary.
I was already starting to lose Rachel's wheel, and I would have to do a sprint to catch back up. Because the second you lose even a foot, it's just Luke and Rachel are going to maintain that speed. And then if they do and you go a bit slower, they're out of sight within the next 5 seconds.
Here I was kind of starting to feel a little bit, but I was just trying to kind of go into my music and just not really think about what was happening and just kind of keep focused on staying on Luke's wheel and then just listening to the music and not thinking about how much power I was doing or that my legs were starting to hurt a little bit. And it seemed to work pretty well. I just kind of zoned out almost during a lot of it, which I think is a lot better because sometimes I think I get a little bit into my head and activate that sympathetic response really hard and spike up my heart rate and spike up my breathing, and then it just kind of all goes downhill from there. So I think just kind of the calm that we were experiencing, really scary cars, and the fact that it is such a steady climb that there's not really any spikes. There's nothing to really spike your heart rate up too much because it's all just so gradual.
Shout outs to Kevin for shooting one-handed video off the bike and getting out of the draft, catching back on. Crazy.
Right side.
Dogs.
I knew that if you were still calling out obstacles, you were okay. So that was a good sign. If there was,
I tried my best.
If it was silent, that would be bad.
Uh-huh.
I think we're starting to lose our friend Kevin here. He's at the back in the white jersey. Everyone else showed up in our shades of purple, but he just, didn't get the memo.
We all just really wanted to wear pink, but we didn't have the pink. I just have my little pink on my Giro helmet and the little pink on my glasses, sadly. My skin suit is a shade of light purple and not pink. I really wanted to channel my inner Pog, though.
It's pretty close to the two-toned Pog skin suit. That was illegal for
there you
a couple
go.
of days.
UCI, come for me.
Happy Giro d'Italia. We're losing Juan as well here. He'll be back, though.
He'll be back. In their defense, though, I offer very little draft, and Luca, although he's very aero, offers significantly more draft, so they're just basically trying to keep up with Luke's pace at this point. I'm doing relatively little to help this train.
It was pretty grim. There was some headwind at the start. The wind was just all over the place.
At this point, the gap between Rachel's wheel and mine is just going up. I'm not even sure what I'm thinking of at this point. I'm just probably taking my last breath here.
No!
Christian will be back as well.
You can see all the people just out for their nice ride on Mandeville, and I'm just like head down, like must have looked like the silliest person out there. This is the point where it really started to bite, so I was just like really trying. I was looking at my computer, but also trying really not to look at my computer because I was saying like 5 more minutes to go, and I was like, oh geez, like I know that it gets a little bit steeper as we go up, and there's just gonna be no shade, and I was just trying to like block out that there would be more pain to come at this point.
Look at them go.
I don't have power up on my segment screen at all, so just not thinking about it. I don't have any performance metrics like heart rate or power or anything like that. I find a lot of the time it just kind of like freaks me out more than anything else to look at that, and I get kind of caught up in my own head. So if I'm going for a segment, I try to just look at the segment end time and just try to like improve that as much as I can, versus looking at trying to improve my power or like keeping my heart rate below or above a certain level.
As I got dropped off, I knew Kevin or Juan was going to come by, and Juan came by, and he's just such a strong rider. I hopped onto his wheel, and he like took me up the last third of it, which I really appreciate, because otherwise I would have just kind of sat on the ground there.
Juan is to be feared at the end of the climb.
I swear, the amount of climbs I've done where I'm like, okay, me and Juan are doing this to the end, and he just punches and just destroys me the last like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's got the fast finish.
Do not have a fast finish.
You do not.
I just have to, try to get as far ahead as possible so that it doesn't matter.
We're going to see your fast finish here in a few minutes.
It's quite bad. More dogs. More people. I'm coming up to the scariest part of the effort. Whoa, where I almost hit Luke's wheel as he goes up to stand.
I apologized.
It's all good.
Been waiting almost 15 minutes just to stand on this 6% part.
And then I'm slowly getting dropped.
Losing you.
Please slow up like a tiny bit so I can catch back on.
I was ahead of my PR, so
Yeah.
I was like, come on, Rachel.
I knew if I could just catch up, then I would get like a tiny bit of reprieve before the end. But it was the catching up that was the struggle. I see him looking back. I'm like, yes, you're looking back. Slow down like a tiny bit more so I can catch back on.
Come on, everything. Everything.
Forgive me. My heart rate was also 185 beats per minute at this point, so.
I'm like, give it everything. I'm in like the last 1,000 feet. Cannot sustain. My out of the saddle is truly horrific. I just shift a bunch of times. It like starts to kick up again. I'm like, I'm just gonna get out of the saddle, but then I'm in like biggie bigs. My chain is skipping. What's happening? The amount of upper body movement. I feel like I'm like at a standstill.
That'll do.
You're almost there as I run into the trash can.
So proud of you, Rachel. Oh my God.
Hold my bike. Bike.
You got it. Okay. 15:10. Oh my God. Bravo. Rachel. She destroyed it. Oh my God.
Dude, nice job, guys. Holy cow.
Oh man. Oh man.
Holy Toledo.
Shit. Come on, Kevin. You got it.
Yeah, Kevin.
I felt like there was a strong headwind.
Fun fact, the segment 2, like, it was telling me I was going to get like 15:28, and then it was like 15:10. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was just like the segment 2.
Oh man,
That's so impressive.
it's unbelievable.
Thank you guys. Seriously,
so much
like.
suffering.
That's so much more
Couldn't have done it without you.
I couldn't help. No, I couldn't help.
Also, it was like motivation too, because I was like, okay, like when me and Luke do efforts, sometimes I'm like, just like, I'm like, I can't do it. But with you guys, I'm like, I will be embarrassed.
Yeah,
there's
somebody
If I say that I can't do
No, not
this.
yet. Victory.